I have a piece of black walnut in between centers on my lathe. It's about 7¼ inches long, 5 inches in diameter. So I want to see if maybe we can make a vase out of this. It's got some beautiful heartwood in there, and it has some sapwood, and we just might be leaving a ring of sapwood on there. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. I think we're doing about 800 RPM. I'm going to be using this spindle roughing gouge, and we'll get going. Switch to my 5/8 bowl gouge. I'm really looking to get into this heartwood here and not leave a lot of the sapwood, but just a little bit. So we're going to make it a little smaller in diameter. Got a safety center in there which allows it to slip. Not quite as centered as I was hoping, but you never know what's going on inside of that piece. This is what I'm looking for here. Now, we're going to just keep cutting on this. I didn't really have any kind of a size in mind. Put a mark for a 10 in here. Alright, I think I gotta turn it around so I can have better access to this shape up here. Alright, I've got it flipped around and I'll just show you what I was using for the drive center. This is considered a safety center. They're sold under different names, but this one will fit into the jaws of your chuck, so you don't have to take the chuck off and put it in the taper. So I've got a little better access now, and I think I'll just use the 1/2-inch bowl gouge now. That is very hard wood. I'll take some more off with the roughing gouge. That's not looking bad. So I've got a pretty nasty crack. It runs clear across here, and I have this knot. So I think I'll part it off right there, and I'm kind of liking that length. So I think I'll just go ahead and do that, and I won't have to deal with that crack. Okay, we'll just kind of clean this shape up here and get ready to bore it out. I'm not going to cut this down too far yet because we need to hollow this out. Alright, I think I could get an 1.5-inch glass tube into here. So I'm going to take a little more off of that and just shape this a little bit more right here, and we'll have it. Alright, I think that looks pretty nice. Plus I got that feathered in a lot better right there. A small little step here. I'll use the negative rake scraper there. So in case you're wondering, I'm not leaving this on. I'm going to part it off down in this area. So I want to clear some of that out and be ready for it. Okay, so I'm not going to go any farther until I get the hole drilled in here. I think this wood's pretty hard, so I put it in low range. That's probably about 1 1/8 bit. I didn't even check. Alright, it's time to sand. I'm going to use sheets of paper, and I'm going to start with 120, and I'll have the lathe running in reverse at about 400 RPM, and I'll sand this up to 400. After I get the outside sanded with 120, I'll put the paper on this little sanding stick, and we'll get it inside of there, and I'll still be in reverse, and I'll just probably stop at 120 on the inside. So I'll do that, and when we come back I'll get some kind of a finish on it. Alright, it's time to put some sanding sealer on here, and this is shellac based. And there's that walnut grain. Black walnut grain. That is so special. Look at this. I knew it had to be there. It just comes out when you get the finish on there. It's just pretty amazing. Now this is going to be slightly different because I left a blend of the sapwood in there, but a nice little contrast. So another piece of wood that would have been firewood if I hadn't have taken it. My wife has some really nice flowers growing in the garden, so I'm going to get this all finished up so she can use it. Alright, I'm going to put another coat of this sealer on it, and I'm not sure if I don't put shellac over this, I'm going to spray lacquer on it. I just think that might look really nice. I've decided to go ahead and use lacquer, and I'll use my favorite, which is deft gloss. You can make it satin just hitting it with some Scotch-Brite. So let's go ahead and put a few coats of this on. I'll show you what it's going to look like, and then I'll be back and we'll part that off. There we go. So I'll probably see you tomorrow on this, and we'll have her all done. I'm parting it off right now, and I've decided to wait until it's parted off and the bottom is sanded before I show you this incredible grain, and that'll be just in a few seconds. Well, here it is, and what a beautiful piece of black walnut this is. Just look at that grain. Just so cool. As we come around here, we get into the piece of sapwood that was left on there, and I think that is a great contrast with it. It finished 5 1/4 inches tall. It's 2 3/4 at the widest here, and the ends are about 2 inches. And I drilled it out almost to the bottom with a 1 5/8 inch Forstner bit. I 3D printed a liner for it so we could put live flowers in here. With this being a spindle turning and an end grain orientation, I did turn a lot of the shape the wrong direction. It's a little harder to do, but sometimes it's easier to get the shape depending on how it's sitting in your lathe. The best way to do end grain is to cut down through those fibers, not up into them. I'm going to take this inside now and see if my wife can pick some of her beautiful flowers that she grew this year, and I'll get them in that little liner and have this on the turntable, let you have a good look at it. I think it's going to look pretty nice, and then I'll show it to you without the flowers as well, of course. So I had a lot of fun turning this beautiful piece of wood, and I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like the video, do me a favor. Click that like button and feel free to leave a comment. Both of those things will really help my channel grow. I do lots of different types of turnings, and you never know what might be next. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And a special thanks to all my current subscribers. You really mean a lot to me. So, till the next time, see you later.